What's up, everybody? This is Mico, and I am here with Chris. Before we get started with our interview, I want to go ahead and do a shout out to a few sponsors right now. Um, Gary, I'm just going to go ahead and add you as a sponsor. This interview is sponsored by Gary Apps. So, if you don't know Gary Middleton, you need to go check out his channel. Check out his website, GaryApps.com. I'm G'd up. Get it? Gary up, G'd up. So I'm G'd up with GaryApps.com and his shirt. So I want to support him in this. Um, Information would be in the description below. Also with our sponsor, Streamyard. Streamyard, look, as a content creator, you're going to use StreamYard to do interviews, to do your videos, to go live. If you haven't created an account, just create it under me. So go ahead, click on that link below, help a girl out. Look, I'm not a salesman, but I'm going to give it to you right. Look, if you look at all my interviews, my videos, my lives, I've been using StreamYard before I was monetized. Now that I'm monetized, I continue to keep using them. It's a user-friendly platform. So I'm telling you, it's great. I mean, it's great for everything. So go ahead and use that. Also, what you need in your toolbox is Tubebuddy. So we all know of other platforms that you can use or other search engine optimization that you can use for keywords and tags. Well, if you on a budget and you're just getting started, you can start with free. You can start for free with TubeBuddy to help you with your keywords and tags for your titles and to get your videos up there with YouTube. So that link will be in the description below. Make sure you click on that, help a girl out. But other than that, let's get started. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Mico? That's a long list of sponsors. You got through it all. You did well there.
Thank you. I'm not firing off. Right, and I'm not reading. Usually, I have like a window up, to say different things. But this time, I was like, let me just go ahead and do it.
That's it. Yeah.
So I'm trying to see when I met you. I think has it been like a year that I
feels like you? That. Yeah, I think I jumped on maybe one of Red's lives on Gig Wars, and I had a chat with just anyone that was driving around at the time. I think I was doing daytime driving there, but over here in Australia it was the middle of the night. I was just on my last scroll throughs on YouTube. I was like, cool, who is live right now? Let's check in on America, and saw one of the Gig Wars things going off. Jumped in there for a chat, and I think you jumped in, and yeah, we just talked backwards and forwards around there.
Yeah. Oh wow. So I am gonna take a little spin and talk about your music because I saw a video about that. But we will kind of dive into what you're doing with DoorDash over there in Australia. But the best videos, and I kind of mentioned that to you earlier, is when you do the different characters. I love that. Yeah. Continue to keep doing those. They crack me up because by the time I see your video, it's morning time for me. I'm just getting up for work. So to have that type of laughter, like I'm eating breakfast watching this, I love it. It's like I'm watching a sitcom or something.
It's really fun to make them videos as well. I've got this big box of props and wigs and stuff like that. And when I was going through buying it all, I was going through op shops. I was going through, like all the party stores and stuff. And I got some funny looks as a guy going through, like getting these wigs, putting wigs on in the store. And then like, yeah, maybe this one, maybe that one. But it was all for purpose. It was all for props in the videos. And then I had to sit down after I bought all this junk in this box. I was like, what can I create here? What kind of characters can I put together? And then very importantly as well, how can I bring these characters into kind of a gig DoorDash Uber Eats universe? And as a content creator, it's actually a lot of fun sitting there, putting a wig on, staring yourself in a mirror and be like, okay, what voice will I do here? What does this person think? Are they a customer? Are they a driver? And then, yeah, you got to flick the camera on. You start running through it. You write out some scripts and stuff to give yourself a bit, but a lot of it's ad lib as well, and you just got to go with the flow with it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to chop up, a lot of fun to edit with it. I think the best thing about them, as you said, it brings laughter to people. It's just a different take on sometimes such a serious industry that we work in, where there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of people, like complaining about the job. I just want a breath of fresh air. So I'm like, yeah, let's do these videos.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. And then I saw another one of your videos where it was pretty much, you do music. You have a band, right?
I used to. So all across my pretty much since the age of 8 years old, I've been playing music, and I played in bands all the way through until probably when I was about 28, 29 years old. And I was like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've played, in metal bands, punk bands, jazz bands. I've played across the entire spectrum of music as a drummer, as a guitarist, and sometimes as a vocalist. But cards on the table. I'm not the singer, but I can play the drums good. So I'll stick back on the sticks for that one, and I'll play drums away. But yeah, I've played a lot of bands through. Then I moved into music producing a little bit, and I was getting ready to. You probably see a DJ deck there. I was getting ready to DJ. I was learning to DJ. And I was like all set up for it. I had a manager in place. I was like, sweet, I'm going to start. I'm producing music. I'm recording artists. I'm going to start DJing now. And I've learned how to use the decks. And then COVID happened and everything locked down. And I was like, oh, well, there goes that one. And as COVID dragged on, the bars and the clubs, they're not having DJs, and they're not even having crowds in Australia. I don't know what it's like in America. But we did a big shutdown. All live venues were closed. No bands were playing. No pubs or anything. And eventually, when they did start to open up again, everyone was sitting just in tables in bars, and there'd be like a live band on stage. No one could stand up. No one could mosh. No one could dance. If people got up and started dancing in the spot, security would come and like throw them out of the bars. They're like, no, you sit down or you get out. No dancing. You can clap your hands, but that's about it. So it was pretty bad here. Now, I saw the state of the scene, and I was like, I'm not going to go DJ in a bar or a club, or I'm not going to jump back on stage with bands or anything like that when it's like this. But a little bit of time went on. I haven't had the ability to play drums specifically because it's such a loud instrument. I've been living in share houses around, can't really set it up without all the neighbors being furious about the noise. I remember in the middle of COVID lockdown, I was living in Brisbane, and I was like, I'm just going to plug my guitar amp in. I haven't played guitar for a while, and I've got this big Black Star guitar amp. It pumps out for club volume level. So I'll just put it on one and play a couple of riffs through. And within, I think it was about 2 minutes, I had neighbors coming out screaming across the fence saying, it's too loud, turn it down. And I was like, all right, cool. I've had my 2 minutes of music for the year. I guess that'll do that. But I am very excited though, Mico. It's a good time on this interview talking about music too, because tomorrow I've got an electronic drum kit showing up. I've been waiting for weeks for it to come in the post. Yep. And it's going to solve all them problems. I can get back on the kit again. It's not going to be loud. I'm not going to have neighbors complaining. And yeah, I got a Roland VAD 504 in the drumming world. It's like, okay, cool. That's like right up near the top for electronic drum kits. So it's going to be everything I need for keeping myself entertained and getting back into music again, which is what I'm very excited to do. I think enough time's passed since COVID that it's time to get back on the kit again.
So make sure you send me that information, because maybe 2 years ago, I was trying to look for a drum kit, but the only issue I had, I'm in my apartments as well, right? So it's like, where am I going to like, I'm still learning. So I'm
yeah.
So I have no rhythm, but I bought like drumsticks and I bought a practice pad, but I ended up getting the practice pad to someone as a gift because he was into music, and I was like, oh, this would be a good gift for him. But yeah, so I still have my drumstick, and I was trying to find them, but they're in storage somewhere. It's too many boxes to go through. So, but
when you find them, the best way to start, it's just Yeah, just pillows, drumsticks on pillows. The amount of time I've spent just hitting a pillow with drumsticks, doing rudiments, doing practice sessions on them. Best way to keep sharp, best way to keep I guess, the joints moving. But yeah, drumsticks on
Wow. Okay.
pillows, no noise. That's a great way to practice.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, the keyboard that you have over there.
I have a keyboard over here. I've got a
Okay.
DJ deck over here,
Okay.
and a
DJ
lot of
deck.
stuff in storage.
So, is this something that you can show the audience just a little bit, like over there or over there, what you can do, or no?
Oh, I can't do that. No, it's not plugged in right now. Take me 30 minutes to
Oh, okay.
hook it all up to the
Okay.
computers. But
Okay.
yeah, no, that's
I
just fun to play around with. And if you know how to DJ, um, you know how to DJ. It's not too much to show off. I'll be hitting play and then doing a couple of tweaks to the sound.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll be a part 2 to this interview then, because I
Yeah,
would love
yeah.
to, like, showcase those skills.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a couple of months maybe. I just want to get that electronic drum kit through and then get my
Mhm.
chops back up to speed again. I'll probably be launching a separate YouTube channel just focusing on music and where I'll be
Okay.
doing drum covers, putting music together. I'm not sure the direction or what kind of content will go on that channel yet, but it will be music
Mhm.
focused. And that's not saying I'm closing down the main channel around all the side hustling motivation and gig work. That's still going to keep happening. But I just want that
Okay.
extra creative outlet, and you can't really mix the two together on one channel. It's going to mess up YouTube's algorithm something fierce.
That's why I have 2 separate, and even though I
Yeah,
try to put both videos on both channels, it kinda helps me out with the watch hours. That's the only reason why I do
yeah,
that, because it's really helping me with the watch hours.
yeah.
Excuse me. But, so that's kinda transitioning to, uh what you've been doing with DoorDash. I like how you spearhead and you took the initiative instead of complaining, like
Mm,
everyone else, because I divorce DoorDash every now and then. I'm divorced right now from them. I'm just
yeah,
doing Uber Eats.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And we all go through the motions. Like we'll have one favorite app and another favorite
mhm,
app, and we have our ups and downs with it. And I'm not perfect either. I've done some scathing videos on the gig companies in the past, but then I also do some really really positive ones. Sometimes I'm having a
right,
great week. Sometimes I'm not having such a great week, and that'll determine the content that I put out that week.
right. So I'm glad that you had a budget. I'm shocked
Mm.
that they actually gave you a budget to do different things like that.
Yeah, so yeah,
Um,
that budget was around an event that I hosted in Australia. So that was the first DoorDash meetup for Australia. I know other content creators like Pedro put together a DoorDash meetup in America,
Mhm.
and I saw the news come out from Pedro when he was talking about this meetup that he's got going on. At the
Mhm.
same time, I was about a month into planning and trying to get budget for an Australia one. I was like, oh, Pedro's going to beat me on this, and he did. It was just fantastic. But I got across to DoorDash, and I just wanted to do a driver meetup because it's something that I found was lacking, especially in the gig community and just for drivers and people doing the work in general. We're so fast, we're so rushed, in and out, chasing that dollar, going in and out of restaurants that we barely take time to slow down, talk with other people face to face, talk the ups, the
Right.
downs, problems, the trials and tribulations of doing gig work. I was like, we just need a spot to do that, just as a wind down, have a chat about it all, and meet each other. And I reached out to DoorDash, and initially, I did a big pitch to them. I was asking
Mhm.
something like $100,000 or something like that. I want to do 20 meetups around Australia, do a full tour, do the big event rooms and all that kind of stuff. And that one got slapped down pretty quick. They're like, no. But I found a more reasonable middle ground with
Mhm.
them. I scaled it back. I said, well, what about barbecue meetups? So a barbecue tour around Australia. And they said, look, that's more friendly on the budget, but we don't know if this is going to work. So I got them to convince them and got them to commit to just doing one in my local area. And I got budget and funding for food, for drinks, for the venue. I got a live band in. DoorDash paid for that one. They approved the budget on it, and I sent across the final thing at the end. I said, this is total cost, and sent that over. And they said, yep, cool, all happy days. Took about 3 months for them to settle the cost after the event. So I only got that payment through to rebalance the books in early March, I think. But that's the nature of doing business. It takes large companies a long time to settle their books out when you're doing contracting. But it was still a great day. Had a blast. I met a lot of dashers there. We had a lot of food. Also got, aside from funding the event across, I got DoorDash to send out a whole bunch of gig packs to me. So there was the big black bags, all the catering bags. I had a truck show up out the front of my place from DoorDash, and it was something like 14 crate boxes filled with merchandise. And I remember filling my entire living room up, and I was like, I've got to get these to the venue somehow in the future. And it was I had to break all the boxes out and then cram it all into my car. My car was filled from floor to roof with free stuff to hand out to everyone. So everyone that showed up, they walked away with maybe $200 worth of free merch from DoorDash, which was catering bags, bike bags, t-shirts, raincoats. Plus, I got a free meal. We had drink tickets on, live music playing, and yeah, everyone just like hung out. We had a blast, and hopefully next year we can get something similar happening, or maybe in a couple of cities. But time will tell.
Okay. Great job. And I know I mentioned that to you when you were talking about it on Gig Wars. So the live that she was doing. So I was like, okay, that's a good thing. And then to actually see how it played out, great job. So it's not a stupid question, but do you get better orders on DoorDash since you've done that?
No, I would just say the orders are better or anything like that. It's tricky to explain the Australian market because over in America, you have such a strict way of working with tips and cherry picking and these programs and all that. If you pull all that stuff away, DoorDash is just doing us a raw offer, just with the total value. We don't really get tips over here. I think on DoorDash, I've had 5 tips ever. And Uber Eats, I got a slightly higher propensity. Yeah, 5 tips ever, because we don't get them just $2 offers or anything like that. They're paying us about $1 a kilometer plus a base fare on there. So we don't have to worry about tips. The companies make enough money from their 30% markup or 30% take from the restaurants, plus the delivery fares, plus the service fees charged, that they can pay the drivers over here. So it's a different model, I guess, of payment for us. But I guess the nature of the beast, though, is it saturates. People hear it's good. People think, oh, wow, I could do that as a side hustle. More and more drivers sign up. The algorithm does start to then test how low they can start to pay us that we're accepting it. So from about 2.5 years ago to now, I've seen probably about a third of the pay drop off from DoorDash, and probably about a third as well from Uber Eats, especially recently. They've just done a big pay cut across Australia. So it is declining, but it's still worth doing. If that answers the question a bit.
Yes. So my next question is, and I mean, you can answer it or you don't have to.
I'll do my best.
Do you think Americans are whiny? They whine too damn much?
I think the political way to answer this is that we all have our grievances up and downs. So I'm the moderator on the DoorDash Driver Australia Facebook page. We've got about 12,000 people in there, and a lot of Australians also whine about the job or complain about the job or nitpick away these small little things and try to blow them up into huge dramas when it's really not. I understand that it is a trickier market that you guys are working on over there, where you are tip reliant. So relying on tips, relying on customers to pay more makes it trickier. I think the thing that troubles me the most is the hatred I see sometimes from drivers against the customers for not tipping. Where it's like, well, you're pointing that gun the wrong direction. Point it back to the company to pay you guys more. The customer's just hungry. They just want their food, tip or no tip. We don't know how much service charges they've had on there or what have you, or how much they've paid on the food. So we can't get mad at the customer because the company's not paying you guys what you deserve. And the companies, they're making billions over there. if we start looking at, they're taking 15 to 30% of each order. If you're doing a $50 order and they're taking 30% of that, that's $15 cut immediately that DoorDash has in the pocket, and they're offering you guys out $2 deliveries for it. So they got a huge margin. And then you just get angry at the customers for not tipping.
So probably what's going to happen is at this mark, I'm going to get a lot of hate comments because of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So my thing is, I've been doing food delivery since 2008. I've been doing Uber Eats or Uber since 2015. So I'm coming up on my 9th year. I've been doing DoorDash off and on maybe 5 to 6 years. When I watch videos and I see drivers complaining, one, on YouTube is entertainment. I mean, you can view it as entertainment, whatever, but when it constantly, every video is about why I didn't get tips, why, this person not tipping this, and, I'm not taking these, just don't do it. When I get mad at DoorDash and they keep treating me wrong, I divorce them. I delete the app. That's just me, though.
Yep.
I don't sit and
that's the nature of independent contracting. That's the nature of it. If the offer's not good or the offer's not worth your time, you decline it. You work for a different competitor. You take the offers you want. But sitting there and just staring at a screen, giving you crap the whole time, and then just getting madder and madder and madder about it. What are you doing to yourself? What are you doing to your mental health at that point? Look for options, look for opportunity that's not reliant on that one thing that's treating you so bad.
But the driver takes it and then complain about it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. If you took a 5 mile for $2, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mico, I'm not in an area like yours. Mico, I don't get a lot of, well, move to a different area. And I'm kind of like on both sides, because you can go to any company and say, hey, we want to get paid more. Now, this is the opportunity for drivers to, start your own company. But the first thing come out their mouths is, well, that's too much work. I can't do that. How I'm going to do that? Is this, every other excuse in the book. But you want this company to pay you $20, $30, $40, to deliver something a mile away. Don't you think if everyone made that type of money, like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much do you think they would have to pay their actual employees? We're just contractors. So people don't pay attention to that. They don't think about that. These are public, and I'm not taking up for nobody. I don't work for them either. I'm not a shield or whatever they call people. But the point is, because I was a business owner. So I know how it is until you become a business owner and you know the bottom line and how to run your business. That would not come out your mouth. My thing is, if it's not working for you, go to another app. If these apps are not working for you, go get a job. If you can't get a job, create your own business. You don't want to be a business owner, then go learn a trade. I don't know. I mean, there's so many other opportunities out there.
Well, I look at it as, once again, I might get a little bit of hate on this one. If we consider ourselves as gig workers, as business owners that way, it is business owner on easy mode. So you're getting the contracts offered to you. You're not out there marketing, paying money, trying to find clients or anything like that. That's already done for you. So it's on easy mode for business. You don't have to deal with the customer service. As soon as people are like, I do great customer service. Oh, I'm good at customer service. I'm like, but are you? Because as soon as there's a problem, you just send them straight across to support. You're not doing customer service. You're just being nice. There's a difference between nice and customer service. So once again, easy mode business. You're not dealing with the emails coming in from irate customers. You're not having to process refunds. You're not having to, I guess, network out there with other businesses or anything like that. It's business on easy mode. You sit there, the contract comes to you, all the logistics are worked out. The payment's going to happen automatically. You don't even have to write your own invoices with DoorDash or Uber Eats or anything. It's all recipient created tax invoices. So they just pay you through. But if you're a business owner, you're writing out invoices. You got to spend that time sitting there doing your admin. And then if they don't pay, you got to chase them up and be like, cool. Yep, let's chase this down. Okay, you spend 30 days, you haven't paid, you're calling them up, you're chasing payment. You don't have to worry about that stuff with DoorDash or Uber Eats or any of the gig companies. It is business owner on easy mode. Now, if you struggle with business owner on easy mode, if you want to start your own business up down the track, but you're struggling to get these fundamentals where it's spoon fed to you together, you're going to struggle starting your own business.
Yeah, you're not going to make it.
Learning, like, you really got to get this down as a learning curve. And instead of like blaming the gig companies, or look at how they're working, pay attention to how they're working, how they worked out their invoicing, how they worked out paying their contractors, how they worked out their logistics, how are they doing their marketing. So you take the driver hat off, go look at their socials. How are they getting new customers on board? How are they spreading things around? What promotions are they doing to get new customers? So pay attention to a business that's working on a certain model. But I guess to a point, this is a stepping stone. It's a tool to make money. It's a tool to increase revenue. But this is not going to be here forever. I think recently I saw a lot of press in America saying, oh, there's drones. DoorDash is doing drone delivery now, and they're trialing out a city. I'm like, yeah, we've been doing that for close to 2 years now in certain cities in Australia, and it's spreading out. Yeah, so it's nothing new for us. And it's actually, Wing is the company which got bought out by Google. And they were a Brisbane company. They were just an hour drive away from where I live. And they started doing DoorDash Air is the product name that they call it. And it's just a drone, picks stuff up, drives it away, flies it away. For the customers, it's effortless. And I think that's going to be a real threat to the driver in the long run, because you don't have to tip a drone. It's going to be cheaper for the customer. It's faster than a driver can get there. And as long as you got like a spot cleared out by, I think it was about 2 or 3 meters, as a customer, you can see a satellite view, move it around, say exactly where you want it to drop down, and it's going to take it straight across there. And it is going to be the future. Like, DoorDash has got a division called DoorDash Labs, where they're pumping tens of millions of dollars into automation, and with the whole focus of how can we reduce drivers on the road? How can we automate these processes? And yeah, Wing from Google, or Wing from Alphabet. That's one of the legs of the many legs they've got going on right now, and we'll see more in it. I'm seeing in the American press right now, especially in comment sections on social media like Facebook, people saying it'll never work. People are going to knock it down. People are going to all these different things, saying what's wrong with drones. And it's exactly the same as we saw in Australia 2 years ago, the exact same things, but it works. And they're not getting knocked down. People aren't shooting them out of the sky or anything like that. It's just become a part of business. I think the only complaints that came through on the drones was a couple of homeowners. They were complaining to the council that the drones were making too much noise and it was stirring up their dogs. That's the only real splashback. But yeah, so these gig companies, they are investing into, I don't want to say a completely driverless future, but if it takes a third of the market goes into automation, that's a third of the jobs drivers aren't getting anymore. If you think it's saturated now, give it 5 years, because a third of them jobs are going to disappear. It's going to be more drivers chasing money in these cost of living crises that we're in right now. And yeah, it's tightening, but that's why you need stepping stones. Use it as a tool, use it to learn business and figure out something for yourself.
Amen. I agree. So I'm speaking in general, where people think that the money come from to do the drones or do what driverless cars or, whatever, they take away from the pay. That's why, 50 cent here, 25 cent here, it goes into a pot. Sometimes these shareholders, they supposed to get paid their dividends, but most times they don't get paid. It goes right back. Sometimes, it just depends on the stockholder, shareholder. It depends on if they want their dividends. So if you already you're a billionaire, millionaire, and you already have money, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to worry about your little small little dividend, right?
No,
First
they
thing you're
want
going to
growth,
say is give
growth
it
at all
back.
costs. Yeah.
Right. Give it
Yeah.
back. Let me make some more money.
Yeah.
But someone like me, I have 5 shares with Uber, and my shares are not doing well. But I'm like, I just gave up. I used to look at it all the time, and like now I'd be like, I forgot. Like sometimes I just forget about it, But I don't go around saying, well, oh, I want my dividends and I need to get paid now. I just sometimes I want to sell, but my family, they told me don't sell just because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They just told me it's 5 shares. It may seem small, but hey, leave them where they are. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yep, and that's probably a good strategy for it. Like a lot of people that enter markets, whether it be stocks, crypto, uh, they want it to go up very
Right.
quickly, very unrealistically. But when you start looking back through history on stocks and shares, and back when dividends, before growth companies were really pumping like they are right now, when it was on dividends, people were like, I'd like to get a 3% return this year on dividends and maybe
Right.
see a little bit of growth. But the companies' stock prices, if they're dividend companies, instead of it being reinvested back into growth, and then the share price goes up because they're like, cool, they're growing, they're expanding this company, the money's going back in, we're getting more business, more acquisition,
Right.
more growth across the world, and they start paying out dividends. Essentially, they're saying, well, instead of growing the company, we're feeding the shareholders now. So when they stop feeding the shareholders and then it all goes back into the company, we see growth stocks. The issue with growth stocks, of course, is there's only so much they can grow and there's only so much time before the investors say, well, hang on, how much more money do we need to keep funneling into this before we see something back? And of course, they can
Right.
sell their positions, and that's all
Mhm.
well and good. And a lot of growth stock investing, especially when you're looking through venture capital, it's to get in, see how much money they can pump in themselves, see how much it can grow, and then drop out their positions. They're like, good luck. And then we see a lot of these tech companies fall off a cliff, unfortunately. But yeah, the whole point for companies like DoorDash, for Uber, is they want market monopoly. They want to be the one company that lives and is, venture capital
And why
and
not?
heavy. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, well, they want to be just the one. So DoorDash is like, we
Mhm.
must beat Uber at all costs. We must throw all
Mhm.
funding into growth to beat them, and vice versa. Because once you have a monopoly, you can raise the prices up, and people will have to pay whatever you set. And of course, there'll be small challenges that come in. But when you're
Right.
trying to take market share off, like a 20, 50, $100 billion company, $1 trillion company in the future, maybe, it is hard to come up against titans. And sure, they can chip away, get small market around, but all it takes is for a company to turn around and say, cool, this new company has set up in San Diego, as an example, and they're trying to expand out. They're a delivery company. Let's just drop all the prices for all of our customers in San Diego. Let's run them out of business. And I reckon their run rate is going to be 2 years here. Then they're out of capital. They'll close down. We might buy them up and acquire their books, or we'll just let them burn out. So that's where they want to get to, just a monopoly running. And it's a scary thought because as a customer, as a driver, as a restaurant, if there's one person dictating your work, your business, your pay, and they've got all the leverage because they're the big one, they're the only one left, and you're reliant on that all functioning through, well, you've lost your bargaining points, you've lost your positions there. So they can drop driver pay down low because who else are you going to go to? Who else are you going to contract to? The merchants pay higher fees because who else is going to do the delivery services? And that's the future that's very concerning. And of course, all this automation stuff is to try offset cost in the long run. Like if the drones are operating and it's cheaper than the drivers, well, let's do more drones, less drivers. They'll keep the cost down for the customers, remove this tipping stuff out of the equation. We don't have to pay too much when it comes down to, if you're looking at the drones as an asset on the company, they're depreciating, they're deteriorating, they're tax write-offs for the companies. So it's not too much of a loss, too much of a cost for them to replace drivers with drones. But once again, cycling back, that's why stepping stones use these tools
Yep.
as financial things. Increase your revenue as much as you can with a plan, or start forming a plan to get out of it. You don't want to be doing DoorDash and Uber Eats full time, 40 hours a week, if you're a full time driver, when you're 60 or 70 or 80. Who knows what our pensions are going to pay? That'll be a nightmare. I don't want to die. I don't want to keel over and die standing in the line at a KFC.
Right. Well, that's a good point that you bring up, because the apps were not created for you to be a full-time driver. Now, I have done Uber Eats full-time when I lived in Nashville, but I also had a W-2. So I always been half and half. Like the W-2 that I'm currently at now, actually next week is my last week. But trust me, I don't have an issue with going back to a job. Like, I can do both. Like, that's always been me. I always had one foot in, one foot out anyway. So that's not a big deal to me. But have I done it full time before, years ago when I lived in Nashville? Yes. And I'm currently in Orlando. But the point I'm making, I think you can do it full time for temporarily. You know, if you got to get out of debt, you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to start up your business. Yes, you're going to have to put the time in, just like with me. Now that I will not have that W-2, I got to get back into the mentality of, okay, whatever I used to do in Nashville, and I know it's a different state from, Florida, or city from Orlando. I got to get back to being that hustle Michelle,
Yeah.
not Mico, but Michelle, because this is what I have to do. But before we move forward, I'm gonna put this on the camera. So Thursday, I went to a small business expo, and you're gonna see a lot of videos come out starting April 1st. I did on-spot interviews, and I haven't done her interview yet. So I'm going to actually email you this. I never can get the camera right. So this is a pickup truck. This is Truck It. It's called Truck It. So this is the husband and wife team. They gave me a t-shirt. I'm going to email you both of the photos, but this is local on-demand delivery. You have to scan the code to go to the website, or you could type in truckit-app.com. You download it, they sign up drivers. You can sign up as a driver or a customer. Basically what it is, if you have a pickup truck or a truck, you can go pick up items. This is a husband and wife team that has a lot of drivers here in the US. Now, I'm not sure if they have it outside of the US yet, but what got me Thursday when I saw them, I'm like, wow, like, that's interesting. I don't know if they did delivery in the past or whatever, and they came up with this, but to be able to start your own business and take the risk and do it.
Exactly.
It can be done.
And that's proof of that. So they've understood, okay, we want to do an app-based business. We want to figure out how can we do these logistics. We can get drivers, we can get customers using QR codes to get across onto the website or whatever booking features they're doing. And they've taken that risk, they've taken that jump, and I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, so I'm going to interview them next week. So it's going to air soon. Ooh. But I just wanted to bring that up because the next Uber is out there. The next DoorDash is out there. The next, it's always the next. And I think what would be a good thing for a group of drivers, and not your top tier. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm saying the ones, take about 5 drivers that want to invest their YouTube money or their money that they work off the apps, and go ahead and get a business started, whether it's rideshare, livery, cab, food delivery, shopping, whatever it is. You've been doing this for years anyway. You've been putting in the time. Why not get like-minded people, about 5 people, go ahead and get started? Look, I get it. Everybody want to be a billionaire, millionaire, but look, that's not business. That's not success. Now, it might be success to some people, the money, but to have something like that from drivers that understand, that would be don't you know what could happen from that?
It can grow fast.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
think a large risk to these gig delivery companies will be the decentralization of delivery. So instead of these big tech companies from Silicon Valley pumping it out, trying to run the market, when we start seeing these smaller ones like this chipping through, when people want to go local instead of supporting some global corporation running it all, and they go local and they support local businesses, and they're not paying for 16,000 engineers sitting around doing code and stuff like that. And it's just a small app that runs maybe a small customer support team ran by husband or wife for anything that goes wrong with it. Once someone can white label across an app like that, so anyone can download it, set it up themselves, put their own name on this thing, download it, have drivers sign up to their own app, and then get customers coming through to their own app. As soon as it white labels and it becomes portable for anyone to be able to download, build a business with, if someone builds something like that, that is dangerous to these large tech companies. Every driver that wants that hustle, that wants that push, they'll be grabbing these and say, cool, I'm going to write Mico's deliveries on the front of this app here. And then it's got all the infrastructure built out for customers to place orders, for merchants to sign up, for drivers to sign up. And if they can simplify it, turn it into like a subscription, $100 a month or something like that, and you've got the entire platform of the back end, and anyone can sign up, do it, run it. That will be a game changer, and that will be the biggest threat to these gig companies, because the drivers don't want to work for some billion-dollar corporation. They want to work for themselves. And what better way to
Right.
work for yourself than have your own logistics company running?
Also, I used to live in Houston. So with Favor, Favor, they just Texas bound only. So you can have something like that. You don't have to be global and here and there. You can just start with one state and just stay in your state. So if you have like 5 people in that state, just stay in that. You don't have to.
Mm,
I think what it is, people just think, oh my gosh, I think it becomes overwhelming when you start thinking of insurance and this and that. Just start out local instead
yep.
of complaining every freaking day on YouTube and to your friends about how the apps are you're a slave to the app and all this other stuff. Just create your own business and
Mhm.
then you'll be okay. Or just stop doing them and go get a job.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be delivery as well. Like, if your passion is hairdressing, or if your passion's you want to learn a trade, go
Right.
do it. And I was talking to there was an apprentice plumber at the last place I was living, just in the apartment complex, and he came up to me and he said, "Do you do DoorDash and stuff, don't you? I've seen the bags in your car." I said, "Yeah," and he said he explained his situation. He's an adult apprentice, so I think he was about 28. And apprentices in Australia, we get paid peanuts until we're qualified. So it takes 4 years on an apprenticeship, and then you're earning the good money. But he was asking me the question, saying, "Look, I'm doing my plumbing apprenticeship. I'm on my second year. Pay sucks. I'm barely paying rent and food right now." He said, "But can I earn some money doing DoorDash on top?" I said, "Absolutely." And the reason for him signing up is he understood he's getting paid crap now. But in another 2 years, if he grinds it out on his apprenticeship, he's going to be making 80, 100, 120,000 a
Yes.
year. But he just needed that extra money to support him to get to that goal of being qualified. And I got him signed up on food delivery. And he only goes out one night a week, makes $100. He's like, that $100 is the difference between filling up my tank and
Yeah.
getting some food, or not. And he's like, I don't need to be rich now. I'm going to make my
Right.
money later on down the track when I'm fully qualified as a plumber. So yeah, support the goals, I guess, with the gig apps, and it doesn't need to be a delivery company, of course. My vision, my goal that I want to get to one day: home ownership, build a big music studio at the back, have bands come through. I can record bands as a side hustle. I can run some private music lessons there and stuff like that. And who knows what else I can do in the music industry at that point in time. But that's my kind of vision and goal, to get across to that. There's a lot of stigma, I think, in the gig community against, I believe you call them W-2 jobs or full-time jobs that
Yeah.
aren't gig
Like
driving. I don't get it.
money.
Yeah, it's weird. My, I, I, I might get lynched up here on this one, but I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm going to go for it. Um, I think that for young people who lock themselves in to 50, 60, 70 80 hours of gig work a week, and they're not doing a full-time job that's traditional employment or trad employment, and they're just doing gig work. I think they are shooting their legs out completely because they're not building skills, they're not building careers, they're not building opportunity in the future, because these gig apps is going to be the same thing day in, day out. You're not getting promotions, you're not getting tenure, you're not getting CPI pay increases or anything like that. And as 5 years go on, how much could you have learnt in a career or in a skill or in a trade to get yourself further ahead than if you just did gig work for 5 years? Unless you got a goal to like, cool, I just want to hit these financial things. But I can guarantee you, if you pick a career, you stick with a career, you go 5 years, then the next 5 years, and the next 5 years, in 15 years, you're going to be out earning whatever you earn on DoorDash twofold.
Yeah.
Plus, you have a transferable skill. You go to a different company. But yeah, it's difficult to see people chasing the money without thinking, where am I going to be in 5 years from now? Where am I going to be in 10 years from now? And if it's just gig work only, in 5 years from now, I think automation is going to come in. It's going to make it tighter and harder. And eventually, if gig work's not profitable, what are you going to do? And these are the questions I think some people are getting themselves caught out in. They're getting caught in the mud. They're seeing the money right now, but you don't want to be doing this when you're 60. And I'd be surprised if when we're 60, if these things are still running the way they are, I'll eat my hat at that time.
You're going to be delivering for free.
Yeah, exactly.
We already doing that now halfway.
Close to it. It's close to it. Yeah.
I think what it is, people they have this, I don't have a boss mentality. Actually, you do. The customer is your boss, right? The customer is your boss. The merchant is your boss. Because if you come into the establishment and you not smelling well, you're not looking right, you look drunk, you smell smoky, they can say, I'm not giving you this order. Then what are you going to do? They're your boss at that moment. People don't think about that. The customer, when a customer tells you, drop it at my door, meet in person, don't ring the doorbell, they're your boss on that order. Just like a small business owner. When I was a small business owner, my bosses were the government and the customers. If I didn't get any customers, I have no business. What am I going to sell? So I think what it is, people say, well, I'm my own boss and, I don't have nobody telling me, micromanage me. To an extent, yes. But think about it. At that time, when you're on a delivery or doing rideshare, that customer, that app is your boss. Because guess what? When something happens and they lie and say they didn't get their food, who are you calling? DoorDash, Uber Eats, Instacart. You're calling them. If you didn't have a boss, why would it matter? If you got a contract violation, why would it matter? Right?
That's right. And if you're running a business and you mess up with a customer, what happens? That customer doesn't come back, or you lose your contract with that provider or service provider that you partnered up on contracting to. They'll cut you off. And I think especially there's a lot of people chasing their 15 minutes of fame, especially around TikTok and Instagram Reels right now. I see people going into restaurants, barking out, blowing up at people and stuff, poor service workers. But I think they forget that the merchant tablets, they've got a button. They can just ban the driver from ever coming back. It's a simple press they can do. Yeah. So the merchant you're contracting to, that's a customer just the same as a customer receiving the food. And unfortunately to these, for the drivers, we are the most expendable part of this delivery chain. There's plenty of drivers that want to sign up. If we're terminated, now someone will replace us. But terminating a merchant, they generate a lot more money for these companies than the driver generates. Terminating a customer, especially a repeat customer, they generate a lot more money than the drivers make, because the drivers are a liability on the business. They have to pay us for it. So if you've got a bad driver in the chain, or a driver is causing problems in the chain, it is much cheaper for the companies to remove that driver from the chain, from the chain and then get another driver to come in to replace them. Because we're seeing surges over here in Australia of terrible drivers. Terrible drivers just doing the wrong thing. They're leaving food like out on the curb and stuff like that. They're stealing food. That's still going on over here. People just going into restaurants, picking it up, not clicking confirm pickup, and just unassigning in their cars. I know it's bad in America as well for it. So it's a problem where, and if you think about traditional employment or trad employment, if you interviewed half the people that are signing up to these DoorDash apps, these Uber Eats apps, if you were interviewing them as a company for delivery driver positions, you would not give them a job. You'd be like, these people have bad attitudes. These people don't have the correct mentality to get out there and do it. And they're coming into a job where they probably shouldn't be doing it. And they're stuffing it up. They're causing problems. They're abusing customers, cussing out customers. At what point are these people right for the business sometimes?
Right. Yeah. So I'm glad that we had this discussion. I'm waiting for a lot of good comments to come. So I'm not worried about it.
We'll get a little bit of heat. But hey,
Look,
I can take the
engagement. It's engagement. So I don't care about that. That's why I try I keep myself out of certain conversations and certain people's lives, because that's how they feel. You know what I mean? Like, until you've been a business owner and had your own business, until you have the mentality that, hey, okay, this customer didn't tip me, the next one will. And I think that I learned that in 2008 when I started out with this startup company. That's what I learned from them. They were like, look, don't get so caught up on the customer not tipping you, because when this person doesn't do it, the other person will. Yep. And I always had that with me, just doing food delivery. So, when stuff hit my phone, now, don't get me wrong, I laugh. I'd be like, 20 miles for 70. Yeah, I ain't doing that. And I just, and right now, matter of fact, hold on for a second.
Yeah.
And I usually don't do this, but I feel like I have to now.
Okay.
Because we're on the subject of it. But my acceptance rate with Uber is actually, let me bring it up. It's coming up now. And I had a good day today. I started out late. And I did pretty good.
Do they show acceptance rates on the apps for Uber in America? We just see a customer star with our customer star rating. That's the only metrics we have.
Really?
Yeah, we're blind to it all. We just see, is the customer giving us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and everything else on Uber, we don't see anything.
Yeah, they took the thumbs up, thumbs down from us. It's been a while since I saw that. Hold on, let me tell them thank you for the tip. Yeah. So can you go in and like say thank you?
Yeah, on the earnings, and a little like heart there. We can press the little heart thing. We can't type a message or anything. We just got a little. Oh, okay. You actually type the message, can you?
No, you don't type the message. It's like a bubble that says send thanks.
Oh yeah, yep. And then it says a little for us. It says a little love heart for us, and yeah, it says thanks for a tip.
So this is today.
Yep.
You see that? I don't show my earnings. I never do. Like, now, in my old videos, I would do the shop and pay orders. Hey, this is what, because I learned that that's how I got my watch hours. I learned that if I put the pay in the title, people will watch it.
Oh, they love seeing your earnings on it.
Yeah, if you don't put the pay amount in your title, that gives them the option if they want to watch it or not. So I noticed people were like watching my videos from beginning to end. So if you go back to my channel and go through all my shop and pay orders, I put the pay in the title. So like I said, I usually don't show people what I make. And I did pretty good today. I got some really good tips today. That's not every day, but it goes to show that I had to make some adjustments today. So I had to go into some areas that I didn't want to, but I'm glad I did, right? Because now I'm not going to have my W-2 job after next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to start making changes now. Okay, you know what? What I did today, it worked for me. So I'm going to start doing that. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? So, and I
Adjust to
don't
the
have to tell the
market.
whole world.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell the whole world. That works for me. I'm keeping that a secret for me because
Yeah.
it works for
Yeah.
me.
That's it. Like
So
when I do my ride along videos, I probably do one in 5 delivery trips as a ride along video. There's plenty where I don't have the energy to do the filming or anything like that. A lot of the time, I just like to switch it on after my W-2 job, just for 2 or 3 hours, have a drive around, switch off from the office, and be like, cool, that's it. But if I'm doing a filming night for it or a filming day for it, suddenly I've got to set up GoPros. I've got to make sure I've got mics in the car. I've got to start thinking, what B-roll shots do I need to do here? Which areas I'm going to work in, and so on and so forth. And it turns just a relaxed, easy drive around into like, got to get in production mode, got to figure out what to say, how I'm going to put these shots together. And it becomes such a large thing. Back to the mentioning earnings in videos. I find that when I do mention an earning, say a $200 day or $150 day or something like that, or a $300 day, they get a lot more clicks through. But interesting on some of the, I guess, the analytics you see on YouTube is you've said the range that you're earning, and then you see people watch through it. Some watch through the entire video, fantastic. But they see this big spike at the end where they just click through to the end. They're like, did he actually earn that much? So I'm not sure where that comes from. People just want to cross-reference the title
they don't
to
want to wait.
actually see they don't want to wait. They want to see the journey to get to the earnings, which is fair enough. And maybe they're just trying to compare themselves a lot of the time. Like, am I earning what this person's earning? And I think that's where it can become a dangerous game from content creators like myself. I don't put myself out there saying I'm the best, I'm the highest earner, I'm the the ridgeridoo top dasheridoo in Australia. I don't do any of that stuff because if I start doing these super challenge videos where I'm burning out like 20 hours in a day or something like that, I don't want people to copy that kind of hours working. I want people to just do a safe amount of driving. I just want people to be switched on, do it when they can. I don't want them to think that they have to work 15 hours a day to be successful. I want them to just do it how they see fit, how they work. And I don't want them to feel bad because someone on YouTube's earning more money than them. Or vice versa. Think, oh, stupid YouTubers, I earn way more than that. And then they put their comments in like, you suck and stuff like that. It goes the other way too. So
well, let me show you one more. Let me show you one more thing. So this is my cancel rate, acceptance rate, and my what you call it.
Oh wow!
This is where I am.
This is a new screen for me because we don't see this in Australia on the Uber app. They hide everything like that for us.
And 31%, that was today. I was like 22. So for people to say, how you make 140, I had good tips, but still, how you make 140, 12, deliveries, and you're at 31%. Actually, it was 22. So AR with Uber does not matter. It matters on the market and how many people ordering and how many drivers are out. That's what people, hey, if that's what you want to think.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a fan of ARs.
I'm proof of it.
I don't think they make a difference. I know for a fact that they don't make a difference in Australia. It doesn't matter. You can accept as much as you want, or you can decline as much as you want. There's no impact to pay. It all comes through the same for us. We're all getting the same offices shared around. So yeah, cherry picking and all that kind of stuff only works to the extent of, I know it's going to be a bad restaurant. I know this restaurant's got a long wait. Or you get one of them ridiculous orders come through sometimes where for us, like they'll offer 20 kilometers for $10. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. That's 50 cents a kilometer. Terrible pay for the mileage. Just decline, move on. So we do get bad offers come through occasionally, but it's not as frequent as it seems when I'm scrolling through American Facebook groups on DoorDash. It seems pretty horrific all the time. They make it out to be, but we've got to take it with a grain of salt, because when people put stuff up online complaining about offers and orders, generally they're picking the worst to show off, and it's not going to be like that all the time.
So I just want to show you, I did 6 hours and 36 minutes, and that wasn't like active time. I get that mixed up. So I was on the app, but I was waiting, declining.
Okay, yep, there we are. 6 hours, 36 minutes online. But yeah, you still got still got 12 deliveries through on that one. So there's 2 deliveries.
It's not 12 hours. It's not 15 hours. I see drivers do that. It'd be 15 hours and they're making this much.
Yeah.
15 hours. Are you joking?
Yeah. That's not worth it. I'm sorry. Like it's not worth it if you're doing 15 hours and earning that stuff. I would have a serious sit down and be like, what are my other options, or what can I strategize here? What else can I do? Like if you're making, like $8-10 an hour or something like that, and you're working 15 hours a day, that's not flexibility. That's not independent work. You're burning your life away for peanuts.
You're running your car, your vehicle to the ground.
Yeah, that too.
Again, thank you for letting me have the opportunity to interview you. Before we actually end this recording, can you tell us what you have in store with DoorDash, if you can?
Yep.
If not, just tell us what other projects are you doing like in the coming months?
Sure. So coming up, I've got to wait for the new financial year to kick through. Our financial year in Australia is 1st of July kicking over. That way I can start doing some more deductions for production and stuff like that again. I guess I'll sneak release it here. I did a Road to Thailand series last year. I'll be doing a Road to Japan series where I earn enough money to afford a trip over to Japan. I'll take everyone along with me. It's a lot of fun to watch along these videos. So I'll be kicking off filming on that one probably after July at some point. I'm not sure when that starts, but yeah, that'll be a good series, a good kind of goal for myself. And traveling overseas, I don't do that very often at all. Thailand was my first time overseas as an adult, so it's always fun to earn the money with gig apps to head over on a holiday. But I'll start doing announcements and teasers on that on my channel in the next couple of weeks, maybe month or two. But yeah, just thought I'd drop the hint here first. That's going to happen. So you heard it here first on Mico's. Exclusive. Other than that, I'll probably be launching out a music channel for music. I've got to get my drum kit tomorrow first and then get back up to chops again. But I'll start doing some cover songs. I'll think some interesting stuff to do there. But that'll be a separate channel, and I'll announce that and link it across in my videos in the future. Just need to figure out some direction around it, but that'll be a creative thing. So if you're interested in music, keep your eyes peeled for it. It'll probably pop up. I'll try to push some boundaries and think of some interesting things, especially from a content creator perspective. I know how to create content now, plus do music. I'll try to find something cool and interesting around that, and we'll see what happens there. Other than that, that's pretty much the 2 big plans. I'll be doing a big journey video across to Japan, launching out a new YouTube channel around music. Other than that, it's just life as normal, keeping the grind up.
Thank you. I feel special, Gary Apps.
Well, thanks for having me on, Mico. I really appreciate your time as well. It's been a great interview.
Okay. I know that it's scrolling at the bottom where they can find you. If you can just let people know, close it out, where they can find you on YouTube. And if you're on any other social media, you can go ahead and say that.
Yeah, guys, just search YouTube chrisbooy in the search. You can search DoorDash Australia. You're going to see chrisbooy everywhere, or just Chris BOOY on YouTube. You'll find my channel. Drop a subscribe if you like the content, of course. Watch a couple of the videos. If you like it, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you want to see more. If you don't like it, don't subscribe. I'm just telling you that.
I know that's right. All right, well, let me do my little closing. All right, guys, thank you for watching this interview. Hopefully you learned something today. You saw a different side of me because I don't show my earnings. I did have a good day today. That's not every day that I work. Some days, sometimes it's more than that. And it surprised myself. But today I had to figure out some things on my own. Instead of complaining and laughing at my phone and looking at it, I had to work a different area. I had to do things that I didn't want to do, like, 9 miles and 10 miles. I really don't do those. But sometimes you have to change your mindset. You have to figure out things that's going to work for you. I'm in Florida. I'm in Orlando. I'm not in California. I'm not in Detroit. I'm not in Chicago. I'm not going to compare myself of what other people are making. It could be, the busiest times, such as breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have to figure out times and areas that work for you. Instead of complaining, trying to have entertainment on your channel, like I said, we discussed it before, get 5 like-minded people and start some type of business so you can make money for yourself. But until then, please like, subscribe, follow Chris, follow myself. And if you want to do an interview with me, reach out to my email. It'll be in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next interview.